Hello, friends. Today I come to you with some exciting news and some sobering news. I'll begin with the sobering news. I'm of the opinion it's always best to end on a high note. Mother Bernie Hartsoe, who is a friend of mine, a recent graduate of Sewanee at the University of the South, and the new priest at St. Thomas, Santo Tomas in Plymouth, this week Bernie was exposed to COVID-19. Please pray for her health and her parishioners' health. And I thought I would share how she was exposed to remind us how easily this virus spreads. A parishioner at St. Thomas was exposed and was tested 2 days after known exposure. The test came back negative. Her husband continued to work and came to an outdoor meeting with Mother Bernie. A few days later, the woman came down with a fever and a cough and is now positive for COVID-19. The issue is that people who get tested too early have a better chance of having a false negative. It is possible that you won't test positive until the 2 weeks are up. I spoke with my mother, who is a telephone triage nurse, and spends her days explaining this to worried parents, and I thought I would share some of these facts with you. And in fact, I will include the link to the CDC website, which explains some of this in the announcements below. The estimated incubation period of this novel virus is 10 to 21 days. This is why a self-quarantine of 14 days is recommended to decrease the chances of exposing others. During that incubation period, although asymptomatic, you are carrying the virus within your person and can still spread it to others. You are still contagious. The viral test will not show a positive unless you are showing symptoms, but you could still be a carrier. Think of it this way. An ailment that most of us know and get multiple times a year sometimes is strep or sore throat, streptococcus. If you come down with a sore throat today and go to your physician for a strep test, the test will likely come back with a false negative. But for the next 2 days, your throat continues to burn and you develop a fever as your body fights the infection. This is why standard medical practice being considered by triage nurses is for you to wait at least 48 hours after developing a sore throat and isolating yourself. If the pain persists through that time, it is best to then get tested for a more accurate result. COVID-19 is also a form of the coronavirus, the same virus that causes the quote-unquote common cold. The other COVID test you can get today is an antibody test. This test, however, will only show if you had a version of the coronavirus sometime in the last year. Therefore, if you're not sure, it can not tell you if you had COVID-19. It can tell the difference if you've had COVID-19 or the common cold sometime in the last year. Knowing this reminds us how careful we need to be within our own families and structures when coming in contact with others, especially if we have been exposed. Quarantine is important in this situation. Mother Bernie will be working from home for 2 weeks, and she will get tested when the time comes and is more appropriate. But in the meantime, she is staying home so that she does not infect others, possibly. As priests, we often will come in contact with more people than you may. If you stay home and then come in contact with me, I could be the carrier. And that is the last thing I want. She is staying home so that there is less of a chance that she will spread it further if she has it. Please be vigilant in your care of others when it comes to this virus. Have compassion for others. The sooner we bring things under control, the sooner we can get back to in-person worship. And I would like very much to see you all face to face, as well as receive the Eucharist together. In the meantime, there are some individuals who from time to time have to go into St. David's building for various things, myself included. To aid in contact tracing, if it is necessary, I will be adding a sign in, sign out sheet by the door, the front door, for us all to sign in. This will also add a second layer of security to know when someone is in the building. Though they may be there for specific reasons. I go into work in the office to do some inventory. Charlotte goes in to check things for the treasurer. Cynthia goes in to check the mail. We're not all in there at the same time, but it is still good to know. Thank you for your continued prayers and work as we strive to navigate this new way of living. In other news, last week, Deacon Clay and I tested out the new sound equipment we ordered through the Center for Congregations Technology Grant. And this will be a boon to our ministry from here on out and is one of the good things to come out of this pandemic. Our Unity Garden is getting a lot of use from our community and proving yet again the importance of this ministry. Over the last few weeks, the Daughters of the King, the St. Known chapter, has been painting some rocks that we pulled out of the garden with messages of hope and of good news that have now been placed around the Creation Chapel. And I encourage you to go see it, to go pray with them. It just adds a nice burst of color around the Creation Chapel, and you can see the video of that blessing below. This is part of an ongoing initiative for this ministry. I also registered St. David's Unity Garden with the Good News Gardens Network, being promoted by the National Church. New signs will be placed in the garden and on our property reflecting this development, and it is a wonderful development at that. And lastly, earlier this month, I received an email from our friend Shadrach Anand, and we'll be providing that text to the email below in the announcements for you to read and share in that joy and his family. I realize that this is a lot of information, so I thank you for sticking with me through this announcement if you haven't hit stop or pause yet. And I will also make sure that next week's announcements are a little shorter. Know that I love you and I miss you. Remember to sign in and out if you enter the building at St. David's, and don't forget to stop for a moment, pray, and ring the bell if you find yourself in the Creation Chapel and Unity Garden. May God bless you and keep you this week in safety, in love, and in joy. Peace.